Shepherd's Advantage Leadership Podcast, Episode 018. Welcome once again to another Leadership Podcast brought to you by Shepherd's Advantage. We are here today to make a difference with people who make a difference while attempting to do something that in fact makes a difference. We exist as a leadership development entity, a nonprofit. We are offering these podcasts as a resource for your personal development and your team's development as well. These podcasts are designed to mimic a mastermind learning experience. We attempt to utilize a compilation of great authors, both past and present, while presenting these ideas and principles for your consideration. I'd like to tell you that one of our premier services at Shepherd's Advantage is our executive coaching program. I am convinced today that every leader must have a good coach. We're in a different era of human relationship building. The technical, economic, political issues that are impacting all business enterprises requires a different mindset in leading. Coaching is not being told what to do, but rather I believe coaching is assisting you in the discovery of direction, dreams, and answers that already lie within you. In the show notes that we provide each and every week, there are links available to access additional information on the topics that we are covering in these podcasts. And by the way, there is a free gift in those links, especially for you. And you can find those notes at shepherdsadvantageinc.com. That's shepherdsadvantageinc.com. You can access those show notes. You're also, if you're not a regular subscriber to these podcasts, there is a way for you to do that right there on the website. These podcast series that we're presently doing discusses why time management is an oxymoron. First of all, think about it. Time is not something that we produce or that we can even bring into existence. And so because we don't bring it into existence, we surely are not going to manage it. I believe that there are greater life lessons to consider on how to make our time more productive. So, with that said, let's begin our material today in this podcast. First of all, I want to mention to you that this series that we are focusing on why time management is an oxymoron, has its genesis in the book by John Maxwell entitled Today Matters. There is an affiliate link in the show notes in which you can purchase a copy of this book. It's not necessary for you to have a copy, but it is there available to you, and we make it available because we want you to know that there is a larger arena of discussion, more than what we are able to cover in this podcast. Yes, it is an affiliate link, and yes, your purchase of that material will be a great blessing to Shepherd's Advantage because all resources are rolled back into the production of these podcasts and the ministry with which we are tasked to do. One of the unique things that we're presently doing is coming alongside teen challenge centers, men and women's facilities, and helping them to discover God's unique design in them, helping them to get back on the right pathway of life. So your purchase of that book helps make all of this happen. And to date, we have been able to touch over 500 lives through this ministry. Thank you so very much. Well, today matters. Not yesterday, and certainly it's not that tomorrow doesn't matter. But I want us to focus specifically today on today's thinking gives me an advantage. Let's consider some serious questions for just a moment. How much deeper would the ocean be if sponges did not live in them? If FedEx and UPS merged, would they call the new company Fed Up? When elderly people spend more time reading the Bible, is it because they are cramming for finals? If the bus station is where the bus stops and the train station is where the train stops, what would happen at my workstation? Well, as you can tell, those are not really serious questions, but yet it challenges the mind, doesn't it? It just causes you to think, and it certainly brings a smile to our face. The discussion, again, centers upon today's thinking gives me an advantage. Claude Bristol, in his book, The Magic of Believing, wrote, "Thought is the original source of all wealth, all success, all material gain, all great discoveries, inventions, and achievements." That is a great quote. I like that. And you would agree with that, wouldn't you? I do believe that is when we take the time to think through the issues, think through the circumstances, think through the problems, and reach resolve and solutions that are effective in turning a corner and bringing about new achievement, new products. I like that quote. Harvey Firestone stated that capital isn't so important. Experience isn't so important. You can get both of these. What is important is ideas. If you have ideas, he writes, you have the main asset that you need. There isn't any limit to what you can do with your business and your life when you have ideas. James Allen, one of the great thought writers and speakers of his day, in his book, As a Man Thinketh, stated, "All that a man achieves is the direct result of his thoughts." Well, those are some very, very powerful insights to lay as a backdrop for us as we move forward and consider here for just a moment on some of the practical thinking skills that are necessary to make today matter. Today's thinking does matter. And so I want to look at 11 skills that I want to talk about here for just a few moments of time. Number one, and at the top of the list for us, is what is called big picture thinking. This is the ability to see beyond yourself and your world. It is about a holistic perspective on life. Big picture, seeing the big picture. In other words, you can't see the picture until you get yourself out of the frame. So, big picture thinking is needed, isn't it? We need to think beyond our present capabilities and our present habits. Big picture thinking allows us to ponder what would happen if. So big picture thinking is number one. Number two is focus thinking. This has to do with the ability to think with clarity on issues by removing distractions and mental clutter from your mind. I don't know about you, but I have to find that place. I have to find that location in which I'm able to shut down the noise of life and focus and draw my energy in like a laser upon the issue in front of me. This ability is to think with clarity. Clarity really is something we don't really talk about so much. You don't hear a whole lot about it, and I I don't know that I've even read a whole lot about it, even though there are articles and books out there. But when you really stop and ponder this and give thought to this, the clarity, you bring clarity. It's the ability to think with clarity upon the issues. And in order to accomplish that, you definitely have to remove noise and clutter. Turn your smartphone off. Shut the radio off and the music, background music, and get yourself into a place to where you are able to focus. And focused thinking brings amazing results. It is amazing that when you get still and you get quiet and you think and you focus, it is amazing at the creativity and the outright ingenuity of your solutions that you arrive at. Number 3 is creative thinking. Every now and then you've got to climb out of the box. You've got to perch yourself at a higher place and get yourself out of the moment. In other words, as I said a minute ago, you can't see the picture until you get yourself out of the frame. Sometimes you've got to step out of the frame. You've got to get out of the box of limitations and explore ideas and options. Think about it for just a moment. Steve Jobs, when he gave his famous presentation on the iPod, that slender little device, and he held it up in his hand and he made this famous statement, 1,000 songs in my pocket. And he slid that device into his pocket. Boy, we didn't know we needed 1,000 songs in our pocket. And of course, out of that device has grown and expanded and has just become something that is amazing. And we see people daily, regularly, with those earbuds, those white earbuds, and walking around listening to 1,000 songs in our pockets. Well, you see, when you get creative, you get outside the box, you begin to think about how music can be served at a better level, at a different level than what presently is. That's creative thinking, getting outside the limitations of the status quo. Number 4 is realistic thinking. This is the ability to stand on solid foundation of facts with clarity. Many times in nonprofits, and especially in the spiritual realm of things, we have a phrase that we use quite often: money follows ministry. Now, that's a true statement, and I have seen that many times, that when you have a ministry, you are doing something in the name of the Almighty. It is amazing at how that resources will follow that, how that money will follow after that idea and that dream. However, the flip side of that coin is that when money is not following ministry, then you've got some pretty big decisions you're going to have to make. In other words, how long are we going to keep flipping the bill for this ministry? How long are we going to keep propping it up and funding and borrowing and begging and pleading for resources? After a while, the strain and the pressure of it all becomes too much, and you need to have a good dose of reality at that point. So you've got to stand upon the solid foundations of facts with clarity. Unfortunately, we get ourselves wrapped up in the emotion of it, don't we? It becomes personal. It's almost like, as we used to say as a child growing up, you're not going to slap my mama. You see, it becomes a personal. It becomes a personal issue at that point, and then we allow emotion to begin to drive position and stance, many times to our own detriment. I know of ministries that their day has come and gone, and yet the authors of these ministries personally invested millions of dollars in it to prop it up, to keep it alive, without really coming to terms that the day was over, and they spent those resources needlessly. So every now and then, we've got to have a good dose of reality, don't we? And then number 5, we need strategic thinking. This is the ability to give direction for today that is going to increase our potential for tomorrow. Wow, I can look all over the business world and name illustrations in which strategic thinking cost company their very existence. For example, Blockbuster comes to mind. And Blockbuster had invested millions of dollars in stores and product, and it was based upon the premise that a customer would come and rent a movie, watch the movie, and return the movie in a timely fashion. And to help you return it in a timely fashion, there were very stiff fines and penalties that would be assessed. All of that was based upon the business model that the faster we can turn the movie in and out of the store, we're going to make more money. Well, enter Netflix. Netflix had an entirely different approach to it all. They had an approach of streaming, online, mail the CD. It was a different model, had a much lower overhead, was not vested in properties and so many levels of management. Blockbuster looked at it and they just thought, well, it's a very tight niche that they had found, and no problems. We're in good shape. Only for Netflix to dominate, and it absolutely shut down Blockbuster. Well, I wonder how many times that we have made decisions that have cost us, and cost us very dearly. You know, you've got to stop every now and then and think about that if all things remain the same, are we going to be able to continue doing what we're doing? Am I going to be able to continue to lead at the level I'm leading if I don't think about the future? What skill do I need to learn tomorrow in order to lead tomorrow? I need to start preparing today. So that is a crucial style of thinking, strategic thinking, the ability to seek direction today that's going to increase the potential for tomorrow. And then number 6 is possibility thinking. This is the ability to unleash your enthusiasm in finding solutions for what appears to be absolute impossible problems. I always enjoy this aspect of thinking. I've always taken the notion of somebody to say it can't be done, and that just becomes kind of an enthusiastic fire that is lit to simply say, let me prove you otherwise. You know, we need that every now and then. We need that possibility thinking rather than allowing naysayers and other individuals in our life to always offer their perspective, their take. This can't be done. Oh, this is the way it's always been done. What were you thinking? Come on, really? Come on, join the human race. Come back to us. Come back to us. You're lost. You're out there. Listen, every now and then we've got to have somebody that dares to believe the possible, even though it appears impossible to everybody else. Thank you, Thomas Edison. Boy, we would have never had a light bulb in our house. We would have never expanded into the wiring capabilities, and now far beyond all of that into the digital realms. Boy, we have so much to owe for those that dared to think far beyond what looked like was an impossibility. How about Henry Ford in creating the V8 engine? History says that he took the engineers, locked them in a room, and provided food and water for them until they came up with a solution, locked the doors, and wasn't going to allow them to come out until they worked it out. Well, thank you, Henry Ford, for being diligent and persistent in a belief that it can be done. Number 7 is reflective thinking. This is the ability to revisit your yesterdays in order to gain a perspective upon your tomorrows. One of the issues, one of the pitfalls of this type of thinking can be that we're always trying to look forward while looking in the rearview mirror constantly. Now, if you do that while you're driving, it is going to cause an accident. Well, set aside some time and reflect and think. It is helpful to be able to look backward and say, you know what, here's where we started and here's where we are today. And what can we learn from this? And allow that to shape your vision casting for tomorrow. It'll also give you insights on how to tweak and change and introduce new ideas and new concepts. But reflective thinking helps you to clarify future choices. Number 8, question popular thinking. It's okay. It really is okay to reject the status quo in order to accomplish uncommon results. Now then, in a nonprofit context, I can just hear all of my ministerial friends and buddies cringing at this idea of saying, come on, Brackett, you know better than this. But listen, if you do the same thing that you've always done, you'll keep getting the same results that you've always got. Every now and then, you've got to reject conventionality to open yourself to new possibilities. Now, understand, I haven't lost my theological mind here. I do understand the parameters of theology and the dynamics of the Holy Spirit as it's revealed in His Word. I get all of that, okay? So I haven't lost my mind here, and don't send me a bunch of hate mail. But you know what? Every now and then, you've got to reject status quo. You've got to quit saying that this is the way it's always been, so therefore it's the way it's always has to be. Number 9, shared thinking. I like this. Now, this is one of my favorite aspects because this is the ability to tap into other people's thoughts that can help you to think over your head to achieve compounding results in your life. You need people in your life that is doing a same work or similar work to yours at a higher level. If you don't rub shoulders with people that are doing something at a higher level, you're never going to feel a compunction to stretch, grow, and move beyond yourself. And so this is an important aspect, to tap into others. I think one of the greatest lost arts that we just really don't see much anymore, and it really has become the basis of these podcasts, and that has to do with mastermind learning groups. I love leading these groups. I do this often on an annual basis. I'm moving out into the business community and developing these mastermind learning opportunities because you see these principles are valid whether it's nonprofit or for-profit. It has nothing to do with the bottom line. It has everything to do with our own thinking set and skill set. You see, the truth of the matter is you cannot lead anything or anyone past your own thinking. Sometimes you just need to tap into a mastermind experience to move your thought process to a higher dimension and a higher level. Number 10 is unselfish thinking. Take other people with you in the journey of life. Don't go by yourself always. I mean, even the Paul-Timothy relationship of Bible days is an important illustration for us to pay attention to. Take other people with you in this journey. Don't go it alone. Don't go by yourself. Have that shared camaraderie and allow that mutual exchange of thoughts and discussion to impact, and it becomes a collaborative moment that you grow and you think and you develop at a different level. And then number 11 has to do with bottom line thinking. This is the ability to think on results and maximize the returns that allows you to reap the full potential of your thinking. Said another way, if the horse is dead, dismount. Don't try to put two dead horses in tandem for greater efficiency. Don't rewrite the definition of a dead horse. Let's get a grip on the bottom line. The bottom line thinking sometimes says, you know what, these results are not happening. They're not happening in the way that we thought. And so therefore we need to rethink and reinvest ourselves, or we need to bring more resources to bear because our idea is starving for a lack of resources. Whatever the case may be, bottom line thinking is a very important skill process in thinking about maintaining and moving our dreams forward in a very powerful way. Wow. 11 thoughts, 11 aspects on thinking and managing our thought process. Well, in fact, let's look at that right now and talk about that for just a moment in managing the discipline of thinking. Right off the bat, can I just suggest to you, have a place to think your thoughts. If you listen to John Maxwell very long, he always talks about his thinking chair. This is a chair that he has in his office that looks out a window with a beautiful scenery. And the only time he sits in that chair is when he is thinking. He doesn't use that chair for any other purpose, so it is specifically designed. I heard Bill Hybels talk about a gentleman in his church a number of years ago, and he challenged this gentleman to find a place to get alone with God and begin to allow God to speak and spend that time and make it a beautiful place and get to a special place. Make it special in your life. And he tells the story about how this gentleman bought a beautiful rocking chair, a great comfortable rocking chair, and that became the place where God spoke to him. Well, whatever it is that you do, have a place, a consistent place. Designate that place to where you go and think and you do nothing else. Make it special. You see, intentionality, Randy Carlson in his radio broadcast programs entitled Intentional Living is a very powerful title of his show. And I think the title of that show ought to speak to us. If we're not intentional in the preparation and the planning of this special place in our life, it's just not ever going to happen. So find that place. I've got mine. Go find yours and develop that. Another idea might be to develop a thinking team. The statement that all of us are smarter than any one of us is very true. So get people around you that are willing to vest themselves in the journey of thinking with you. That's why the team concept of leadership is so very crucial and powerful. You're taking others along, you're allowing or giving permission for others to speak, and the end result is a finer product, a finer piece of leadership that benefits the whole and not just the few. Complement your weak skills with the thinking of others. Let's be real here for just a moment. We are not excellent thinkers in all aspects of our life. In those areas of finances, or those areas of law, or government regulations, or health and human service, all of these categories, we're not proficient in all of that. So accept that. It's okay. It's okay. I know what I'm not good at. However, I know who to call and I know where to turn when I need help. And so complement those weak skills in your life with the thinking of others who are strong in those areas. And then finally, I would suggest capture your thoughts. I mean, carry with you what John Maxwell calls is his thinking companion. His thinking companion is a small notebook in which he has with him at all times. It just goes everywhere with him. And this is a notebook in which you can write down your thoughts for reflection. You can write down your ideas to develop and scratch and draw and create. And it becomes a tool. It becomes a functioning, working tool that is directly connected to your time of thought. Well, I hope these ideas are of value in Today Matters. Time management really is an oxymoron, isn't it? We can't produce time, and we definitely are not going to manage it. Well, until the next time that we're able to meet and come together again, We just speak blessings up on you and bid you Godspeed until the next time. Stop by shepherdsadvantageinc.com for the show notes. And if you're not a subscriber, we would so appreciate that. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you, and I'm going to do my best to answer and respond to every single comment. Until the next time, God bless.